Hi, welcome back. Today I am doing an intro for a vlog that I've already filmed because I accidentally deleted the intro that I had already filmed. Today I am going to be vlogging my experience reading House of Earth and Blood, the first book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. This is a book that I honestly never expected to read. The reviews for it were mediocre at best, and I never really felt super interested in reading it. I do really enjoy the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, but I don't really care for the Throne of Glass series. I could kind of take it or leave it. I decided on a whim to give this book a go. I actually jointly read and listened to the audiobook, and I vlogged my experience of that. So please enjoy me reading the first book in the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood. It was a time, let me just tell you. I'm in my favorite vlogging spot to talk to you about Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, Sarah J. Maas, the first book in this series. I've been listening to the audiobook today, and I am already 261 pages in, which feels like I've read a lot, and yet there's still so much of the book left. So I've been listening to the audiobook, obviously, and I've been at work, so I haven't really been able to update. So I've been taking notes. I've been keeping track of my thoughts as I've been reading. So I'm just gonna read some notes that I've been taking, give you kind of like a general idea of how I'm feeling about this book so far. This is going to be like kind of probably spoiler filled, because even some of these initial thoughts are they're spoilers. So my first thought when I was reading it was, of course she reads romance novels. I mean, of course, like, because what heroine of Sarah J. Maas doesn't love reading books, except for, I guess, Feyre, who couldn't read until she could read, and then she liked reading books, so like that's her thing, I guess. Also, I'm not really sure what color Bryce's hair is, because she hasn't told us enough times. Is it the color of red wine? Because I'm not 100% sure. Okay, this was my thought like in the first couple chapters. I really like Danica, but pretty sure she's about to die. I'm pretty sure I knew that she was gonna die because that's like a lot of people's review for it. Like when they review it is they like this character and then all of a sudden she dies in like chapter 4. I knew that was gonna happen. Here is a general thought of just Sarah J. Maas in general, is that her writing is so clunky. She doesn't really know how to structure her stories, and she has no idea how to do subtlety. I feel like I've already got so many predictions about how this book is gonna go, and I would be shocked if I'm not correct, just because her foreshadowing, her subtle hints are not subtle at all. It's bad. It's just not well written. It's not horrible. Like, I'm not really hating the book or anything. Like, it's just her writing is so much. Also, the book is incredibly overwritten. I feel like in the 260 pages that I've read, at least 100 or 150 of that could have been cut out because it just was like useless information. Here's something I do like. I really like the banter between Bryce and Hunt. We haven't really gotten a lot of who either of them are, really, other than obviously Bryce was Danica's best friend and Danica died, and so now Bryce and Hunt are investigating what exactly happened, and they kind of got paired up in like a way that neither one of them is super happy about. But I really like their interactions. I'm interested to see how their relationship continues to develop. We know that Bryce's dad is like the Autumn King or whatever, but the deal that she made to come to the city meant that she had to keep it a secret, so nobody knows that he is her father, and his son, her half-brother, everybody just thinks is her cousin, so like a distant relation. Nobody knows that she's his child. I think that that's probably going to be important. I mean, like, why would it not be? I think that there's going to be some kind of like latent ability that Bryce is going to have that's going to help with this investigation. She's trying to help solve the murders of her best friend because some more murders have been committed since it happened, and they initially thought they caught the guy, and then like this exact same death started occurring a couple years later, and so now that's why she and Hunt are paired up. We don't really know much about either one of them really yet, but I think we're gonna, like, as they get to know each other, we're gonna get to know them more, and I'm really interested to see how that relationship continues to develop. I'm sure at some point there's gonna be some stupid love triangle thrown in, but right now I really enjoy their banter. I like their interactions with each other, and I can see how it could develop into something really good. So I'm excited to keep going with that. I have some other thoughts, but I want to read a little bit more and get a little bit more into it before I kind of go into a little bit more of my like thoughts and feelings about the book itself. But I have a prediction for like the potential reveal of this story. I would give like pretty much every single dollar that I have that Danica's mom is somehow responsible or somehow involved in the deaths, in her daughter's murder. Sarah J. Maas made a big deal at the beginning of the book talking about how there was some tension between the two because Danica was supposed to maybe take over as like the head protector or whatever. She was part wolf or something. I don't really know exactly how the creature breakdown works, but essentially she was part of the race of wolves that is charged with protecting this city. And Danica supposedly was like the most powerful wolf to ever be born, and there's this prediction that she is going to basically take over and be like the most powerful of all the wolves, not just in this particular city. So her mom, who is like supposed to be like the next person in charge of the wolves from when her grandfather dies, has some hostility towards her for being more powerful than her. And I just think that somehow she's going to be involved. I just think, for some reason, I just think that she is going to be the one who's involved or behind these deaths. So that's kind of where I'm at, you know, like a third of the way into the book. I have no doubt that I'm going to be able to finish it in the next couple days because it's a pretty quick audiobook to listen to. I realized that it's probably been like 10 years since I read a Sarah J. Maas book physically because I just listened to the audiobooks. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be able to actually read her books because of all like the em dashes and just like the constant repetition of everything. It's just, there's something like dramatic about her writing style that I don't really love, but I can tolerate when I'm listening to the audiobooks. So far, I'm enjoying it. Like I have some complaints, obviously I've stated those, but I don't have any complaints really about the reading experience. I mostly just have complaints about like the structure of the story. But honestly, like if the book keeps going the way it's going and I keep being entertained by it, I don't think it's going to be a bad book at all. Like I think I'm probably going to end up enjoying it just because I so far have enjoyed what I've read. I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna read some more, and I will try to remember to update you at the like 50% mark. I think I'm gonna just start leaving my camera set up right here because this is literally the only place I ever film. I am like 60% of the way into Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I'm on page 489. I'm so bored. This is so boring. Nothing's happening. I thought I was correct in my assumption that Danica's mom was gonna have something to do with her death. Turns out her mom was covering for her because she is the one that stole the like magical artifact that they're on the lookout for. They're searching for this magical artifact. I don't know if I've talked about that. I don't know if I've mentioned that in the vlog, but basically the whole thing is they're trying to solve the murders, and also they're looking for this like artifact that has something to do with this place and the magic in this place or whatever. It went missing right before Danica died, and then it's just now come to light that Danica's actually the one that stole it and the mom, Sabine, was covering for her, which is interesting, I guess. Like, I don't know what I think now because I was very sure that her mom was gonna have something to do with it, and I guess I'm broke now because I did bet all the money I had. We're just now starting to get a little bit more development between the relationship between Hunt and Bryce. They are starting to like kind of open up to each other a little more, like getting to know each other. So we're getting to see a little bit more of their like tragic past. Can you stop? As I was saying, we're starting to get a little bit more development in the relationship between Hunt and Bryce. We're starting to kind of get to know a little bit more about their past, and they're like forming a bit of a deeper connection, but I still don't care that much. Like, I don't find them to be super interesting. I like their like kind of banter that they have going on, but I don't really find their relationship to be super compelling. I literally have no idea why the book is this long because nothing has happened. Literally nothing has happened. The first like 30 pages were cool, like interesting, because I was like getting connected to these characters, and then suddenly they all died. Then after that, literally nothing. It is just like so far been like 400 pages of boring. I also don't understand why her books always contain so many characters, and all the characters are like similar to each other in some way. Like the names are similar or their personalities are similar. I feel like she has this like list of like character archetypes that she feels like she has to include in every single one of her books because they all like overlay with each other perfectly, and I'm just bored of it, to be honest. I really like the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. It's kind of a guilty pleasure series for me. I reread it more often than I would care to admit because I love those characters, and I love the way that she crafted that world, and I know that it's not a perfect series, and I know that in general she's a not perfect author, but I really enjoy those books. I am not enjoying this. I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. I have 4 hours of listening time left in the audiobook because I'm listening to it on like 2.7 times speed. I'm just straight up not having a good time, and I regret this. I'm not enjoying it, but I also don't want to DNF it. You know, I don't know why. I feel like I've put so much time into it already and so much energy that it would just be a waste to not finish out the last part of it. Maybe the ending will change my mind. I'm excited to see kind of how it is going to keep going, because honestly it has to get better. Like, I just don't understand how it can't get better at some point. So I'm compelled enough to keep going. That's my update for now. I will check in again probably when I'm finished, because I don't think I'll have anything else to say unless I come across something that I just need to rant about. Okay, it's Friday and I still haven't finished. I am on page 570. I talked about this yesterday or a couple days ago, whenever my last vlog clip was. I honestly can't remember at this point because I barely read this week. Even though I was determined to finish this book this week, I've barely read it. Anyway, in my last vlog clip, I talked about how I was just a little bit bored, and that is continuing. I have some problems. Here are the problems. Actually, let's recap what I've learned in the last 200 pages or whatever it was since the last time I updated. Danica supposedly into some shady shit. She was somehow involved in this new drug that is like on the market, or like an underground thing that's going on. And Bryce thinks that maybe she was like trying to take down the drug ring or whatever, like stop the sale of this illegal substance. But I suspect that perhaps she was using it. Like, I just think we have learned so much about her at this point that doesn't seem trustworthy to me, that I just think that she's not a good person. Bryce is probably going to find that out, and it's going to be the end of the world or whatever. That's literally all we've learned in the last like 200 pages, is that Danica knew more than she ever told Bryce. And I guess like another one of their friends who's barely spoken to Bryce since Danica died told Bryce that the reason that Danica didn't tell Bryce is because she wanted to protect her, essentially, because Bryce was like really into drugs, and Danica thought that if Bryce knew about some new drug that she would want to try it, and it was like really lethal to humans, and Bryce hasn't made the drop, which they keep referencing. So she's not immortal. It would essentially kill her. So Danica wanted to protect her from it. I suspect that really Danica didn't want Bryce to know that she was using it. That's my opinion. That's my theory. But I've been wrong about a lot of things so far, so I will probably be wrong about that. But we'll see. Okay, so here's like my thought process. Number one, I guess I'm supposed to care about the relationship between Danica and Bryce, but I literally don't. I don't really understand why Bryce cared so much about Danica, and I get that like they're best friends. Like, I get that they have this bond, but in the almost 600 pages that I've read, Sarah J. Maas has not given me any kind of indication as to why their bond is so strong. Yes, I know they went through something traumatic together when they were in college, and it bonded them for life, but we really don't know what that event is. I mean, unless I just missed it, she has not explained to us, except for in like these little glimpses of Bryce like kind of thinking back to it, but there's like no real foundation for their friendship. The other thing is that it's 600 pages of what I've read so far, and there has been no boning at all. All this build up and no sex. Where's the payoff? You're giving me all these like moments of teasing. We're seeing this like build up of a relationship. They're definitely hot for each other, but they won't just do it. I just feel like I'm being teased. I feel like it's being dangled on a string, and I can almost reach it, but I'm never actually gonna be able to reach it. And it's not that I'm like some person that needs to have smut in every book that I read, but Sarah J. Maas has kind of made her reputation, her writing reputation, her fantasy reputation on the smut that she started adding into her books. And for this to be so long and there to be no relationship payoff at all is frustrating. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Where's my phone? I think I have like 2.5 hours left of listening for the audiobook. I'm gonna go finish it. I have some other things I need to do. Still trying to get ready to leave for a vacation, so I have a ton of stuff I need to get done. I can just pop the audiobook on while I'm doing that stuff. So that's my goal. We'll see if I actually manage to make it happen. Hello. It is currently Friday. It is like June 23rd or something. It's been a few days since I vlogged. Actually, it's been like a week since I filmed an update for this vlog. I went on my entire family vacation and came back and did not have a chance to actually finish out this vlog. I did not manage to finish Crescent City, or the House of Earth and Blood, or whatever it's called, before I went on vacation. So I did finish it while I was on my trip, but I never really had a chance to update the vlog. I actually have to refilm the intro, so I'm gonna put a little makeup on right now. So I figured while I was putting some makeup on, I could talk to you about how I felt about the end of House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. So I think that I need to talk about like pretty much the entire last 25% of the book, which just was a little bit wild, to be honest. So it turns out that Hunt like kind of betrayed Bryce. He was trying to find a way to rebel, get the angels out of their slavery situation, which I don't know if I really talked about it too much in the vlog, but essentially he was a slave to this kingdom, to these people, because he tried to rebel like 250 years before the start of the book. And so he'd been sold into slavery. And yeah, he's like a police officer or whatever in this world, but only because he's a slave and he has to commit all these like atrocious acts for his master or whatever. And then it turns out that he was trying to get out of that, so he was striking up a deal with some bad people to essentially get the drug. Turns out that like Danica was selling it, or she was addicted to it or something, and so she was involved in multiple ways with the drug trade. He basically found that out and kept it from Bryce, and then she found out about it as well. She found out that he had been keeping it from her, and so she like cut off all contact with him, and he got sold back to like the evil lady that he was previously a slave to. And then some other shit went down, and essentially a portal to hell got opened, and Bryce had to save the day, and she ended up killing Micah, who was the like governor of this place, because he's the one that ended up actually killing Danica and the pack, and he's the reason that all this bad stuff was happening. The ending was wild. Like, I really didn't see very much of what happened in the end coming. I should have, because I made some like mostly correct predictions at the beginning, and then basically the whole book like went off the rails for me, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Hunt ended up killing the lady who was like his master or whatever, the angel, archangel, whatever. He ended up killing her so that he could like go protect Bryce. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Bryce eventually made the drop, and turns out she's like the most magical holder of the starlight, whatever, and she, I don't know. Anyway, so much shit went down in the end of the book, and I really wish that I had vlogged my reactions to it in the moment, because I can't even really remember the order in which everything happened. I just know that like a bunch of stuff went down, a bunch of things were revealed right at the end. I don't know, I kind of liked this despite myself, because I found it to be quite a frustrating read for the majority of it. I feel like it was entirely too long. It could have used with some serious editing, because Sarah J Maas really likes her word count and her page count. I feel like so much of it was just not totally necessary, unless some of the stuff that we learn about that doesn't feel necessary in this book comes into play in like the later books in the series. I'm not saying that everything that we learn in this book is going to be significant though, like I cannot imagine. But yeah, overall, like I did like it. I just wish that an editor had just gotten a hold of it a little bit more. The long and short of everything is that yes, this book was ridiculous and overwritten and whatever with the magic system and the romance and the plot. I don't know, it just like a lot of things about it that I didn't like, but ultimately compelling enough that I'm gonna end up reading book 2. Actually went to the library today to return some other stuff and checked out book 2. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to resubscribe to Audible for like a month to get the audiobook of House of Sky and Breath. I just don't think I'll be able to read it physically because of Sarah J Maas's writing style. The fact that like every other line on the page is she blew out a breath, or she sucked her teeth, or she clicked her tongue. I can't handle that for 800 pages reading physically, but I can handle it like joint reading, like reading it physically and listening to the audiobook. I just glitched hardcore. Let me go finish doing my makeup real quick, and then I'll come back and do like an outro. All right, so that about wraps it up for my vlog for House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. Overall, just kind of an interesting reading experience. Surprising in some ways, less surprising in others. It was fine. Ultimately, I think I would give this book about a 3 stars. It wasn't like my new favorite thing ever. I'm not going to be like shouting from the rooftops about this book, but I am intrigued enough to continue on and read book 2. So please let me know if you would be interested in a spoiler-filled reaction vlog to the second book in this series, because I am more than happy to do that. Let me know if you have read House of Earth and Blood. I'm assuming if you watched this vlog all the way through, then you have read this book, because this vlog is filled with spoilers. But let me know how you felt about this first book in this new series by Sarah J. Maas. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I would really love to know some opinions. I know this book is quite polarizing, but I am always interested to hear how people felt about certain reveals. I'm interested to hear how people feel about this book in general and how the first book compares to the second book in the series. Just let me know all the things down in the comments, and we can have a discussion all about House of Earth and Blood, because it was a time. It was really a time. So that's going to do it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!